welcome to Should I Buy This Game featuring Overparked. My name is Christine, and in this video I'll give you an overview of how the game is played and then share a few things I may like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add Overparked to your collection. This is the game Overparked, and it is a tile placement game. And so this is our player board, and I started already with laying some of the vehicles just so you have some idea of when going forward laying them, what it looks like. So on your board, you've got 4 keys that are locked and one you get to use. And you can use that key to move the vehicle if you need to move it up or down or over. And if it can drive right off, then you can actually remove it from the board. As you fill up a section, you will unlock another key. This key can also be used at the end of the game. If you have an empty spot, it will count against that. Or if you have a vehicle in no parking, you'll be able to remove it as well. The cones are there in place. However, if you do need to put a car where a cone is, then you can put it in no parking. It gives the same penalty. Anything left here is a penalty of 2 points. But also, if you can put it back in, you'll be able to put it somewhere else on the board when you return it. I'll just show you down here. We have a hand of 2 cards, and this card here works a little differently because it gets you a motorcycle and it allows you to take something out of that no parking zone. So if you do have a car that comes here, you can get a card that will allow you to remove it and play it wherever you want on your board. We also have little cars, and we're going to use these when we get our objectives. There's a whole variety of objectives, but this one we're working on. You need to have 2 cones with a vehicle surrounding those 4 spots. Vehicles that fill the space diagonal across your board, as well as vehicles that make the L. Now already I'm very close. I'm just 1 space away to that L, and I'm actually just 1 space away from that diagonal. Now, if you get here first, then you're actually able to get a motorcycle token. And that is a single token that you can put anywhere on your board, such as that space there where I have just an empty space. I'd be able to fill that in with a motorcycle token. And then this here is how we're picking our cards. So you'll see here on my board, I am board C. So this is me on the steering wheel. So on my turn, I'm going to be moving the steering wheel. So I'm just glancing at what I have going on. Maybe I want to move my steering wheel to this card here. I would move my steering wheel there. I would get this card. And then whatever board the other players have, they get the cards that are where in their section of the steering wheel. And that is how we select our cards, and then they'll get replaced. So when you bring the card over to your area, you don't have to play that one right away. You could play any of the 3 cards you have in your hand. So I'm just doing a quick glance at what I have going on. And maybe I will just play this card I got. So when you're placing your vehicles, you have to place them exactly how the card shows. So I need to place it with a space. Now I can place it like this or like this, but this one, they're both blue. I was going to say you can't reverse them, but they're both blue, so I wouldn't really reverse them. I'm going to place my vehicles like this, and I'm going to place one here and one here. Now by doing so, I was able to create that diagonal. So I get my little thing and I go, I'm first. I get a motorcycle, and I think I am going to put it on that spot that I had pointed out. Now I'm 1 space away from completing this area. Now this card that I did use gets put away. Now everybody is doing this at the same time. We all got our cards and we're putting our vehicles on. So you refill it and the next player will go. So say the next player just wants, like, I'll randomly pick this card, they would get that card, and I would then be stuck with this card. So I put it here, and I have to decide. I could put those vehicles there, because that's a harder one when you're getting later in the game. Or I could use one of my other ones. Now, I don't want to use this one yet because I don't have anything in no parking, but I could be looking at using one of those. I'm thinking I'm going to use this one, and I can put it here. So I have my blue car and then a truck. Now, trucks are worth 4 points at the end of the game. So if you can get some trucks on your board, that's good. As well, these are the majority, area majority. As you count the number of vehicles of the same color connected, all gets a point. So these reds right now are 3, but the motorcycle is a wild, so that makes it 4. Here I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4 blue. If I could get another blue here, then I would connect those, or even a motorcycle. So these are the things we're looking for. And the game would just continue like that. You're just trying to fill your board the best you can. You get points, as I said, for the majority of spaces, or the trucks, how many of the same color you have connected, your points up here with you scored first, second, or third, as well as though you subtract points for any cars that end up in no parking. Now there is a solo mode to this game, and the Autobot plays as A. So on your turn, you would take your card, anyone you want, it just happened to be there, and then you would remove the card that was in the A spot. You would refill, like that, and of course you would take your turn and place your tiles. But then when the Autobot goes, you turn over tile, and you move it this way 3 times. So it's like 1, 2, 3. So it goes like that. You would remove this card, and then this is the card you would end up with to place pieces in your board. Then this card gets placed here. And when you end up with 3 of a number, you'll see there's different numbers here. If you end up with 3 of a number, then you put the Autobot's car on whichever position is available on, this would be 1, 2, or 3. And that's how they will take up spaces here, as if a person, an opponent, would take up spaces. So it's a really easy to play. You go first, you take your card, and then when it's the Autobot's turn, you're just rotating the dial, removing card A, and you're taking the card that coordinates with your board. And that is how the solo mode is played. And now for some likes and dislikes about the game. We do really enjoy playing this game. We really like this mechanism of how you get to choose your cards. Now we played this, I've played it solo, 2 and 3 players. And once you get into 3 players, your choice gets a lot less, right? Because in 2 players it goes back and forth, but a 3rd player comes, now it's every 3rd time you actually get to choose what you want to get. So you might end up with this card, and yes, you have other cards. You don't necessarily need to play it. But say you did decide you were playing this card, and you're looking, and so you're like, okay, I'm putting a yellow here. Well, I can't put that blue, and I can't put that yellow, right? Well, I could put the blue, but then this would end up in OverPark, and then my yellow would end up in OverPark. So that's what happens. If you can't place cards on your board, you put them here in OverPark. Now, of course, you can always have a card like this that gets them out. However, the other thing you have to watch out when playing with multiple people is if some people are going heavy on the trucks, they're filling up their board really fast. And I always find personally that I end up with a lot of empty spots because other people fill their board way quicker than I do. Part of the problem is that I'm always sort of focusing on color blocking, trying to get all my cards to connect, where we found that other people who just are starting at the bottom and filling in their board, they're getting it covered a lot quicker. So there's different ways to go into the game, how you play, who you're playing against. It all changes up. With the card mechanism, it always changes. So this game is always changing. You can have some idea of how you're going to attack it, but until you get the cards, you don't really know what's going to happen. And so therefore, there's a lot of replayability to this. And we've already played this game quite a few times, and we just really enjoy the strategy to it and the different objective cards and everything that sort of goes along with it. So let me know if you've played OverPark or if it's a game that's now on your radar.